So my name is Hasina. I work in student support services. So I'll talk a little bit about the support that we have available to you as well. So I'm sharing my screen, so whilst I can't see you all, it's lovely to meet you virtually. In the chat, if you don't mind just putting down your name perhaps and what course you're studying and what year you're coming into with us, and it just helps us understand who's in the room and who's with us. That'd be really great. So hopefully everyone can see my screen. If you can't, please do just say, and then we can make sure that we sort that out for you. Perfect. So as I said, we're just going to talk through kind of how to look after yourself, the 5 steps that you can do that as recommended by the NHS, and kind of a model that we also promote here at the university. The transition period that most of our students do feel when you go from kind of being at school or maybe even moving away from home for studies, and how to cope with that, and then how to utilize support and what support is available to you. So in terms of mental well-being and what that means for everyone, so again, I can't see the chat, but if you do have any thoughts about this, please do just pop it in. It'd be lovely to hear. So as you may know or may not know, your mental health is your emotional, psychological, and your social well-being. So we like to see it as kind of that holistic, all 3 areas. It's not just one thing. There's many things that can contribute to your mental health. And your mental health ultimately impacts the way we think, feel, act, and also how we handle stress. So if you're having a day or a week where you're feeling positive and your mental health is great, then actually the way that you receive change and the way you understand change may be different to a day where actually you're feeling not so great and you may be feeling low. And if something does happen on that day, it may impact you slightly differently. So just understanding that actually our mental health relates to us, others around us, and then how we make decisions as well. So especially when you are at university and it's a big change and you're meeting new people, you're starting maybe a new course, new content you're not familiar with, it's really important to think about how mental health affects your everyday life. So when it is exam season or when it is a particular busy period for your course, just to really keep in mind your mental well-being, because ultimately, like the diagram shows you on the screen there, a positive mental well-being will increase your productivity, it'll help you cope with stress, and ultimately it will make you academically successful, which is what we of course want for you whilst you are a student with us. And looking after your mental health also will enhance your ability to concentrate, to focus, and to just have a positive impact on the quality of work you're producing. And that may be something you've already experienced kind of in your school journey and doing exam seasons, whether that was GCSE or A levels, or whether that was IB if you're coming to us from abroad. And kind of when you are feeling positive about your mental health, you may see actually the work you're doing is a much better quality than on the days that you're not doing so great, it may be less quality. So just keeping that in mind is really important, especially when you are starting your studies and it's a big change that you are going through. So we're going to take a look and kind of how you can look after your well-being and the 5 steps to do that. So on screen there you can see the 5 steps. Now these are 5 steps that are recommended by the NHS. It's 5 steps that we also adopt in the university. And it's a really nice way just to understand, as we said, there's different parts to mental health, there's different parts to your well-being, and how all of those can connect together, and how they have an impact kind of on your student life. So I'm just going to talk through them in turn. At the end of each one, I'll just pause to see if any of you have any ideas of what that means to you and what you may do for that particular step. And if you just want to put that in the chat, then please do. Or if you want to just put your hand up and unmute yourself, we're happy to hear that as well. So the first one is around connecting. So connecting is a feeling of being connected to those around you. So one of the things that we do know that our students experience when they are with us, and throughout their studies, but especially kind of in that first few weeks of term, is the isolation and loneliness that you might feel. And we know that that then has a negative impact on your mental health. So if you are experiencing those first few weeks of term where you're finding that you're spending a lot of time in your room, you're not with others, that may then have a negative impact on your mental health. And like I said, we know that's the case for our students at university because it can be difficult to connect with others, and it's also a new environment. So we would really encourage you to kind of connect through societies or connect with people on your course or those that you're living with as well. You can also tailor the advice to yourself. So there's different things you can do to make sure you stay connected. So actually, if you're finding that going to societies and people on your course, that's not really working, you can keep connected with those at home. So friends and family, scheduling FaceTime calls and having regular contact with them can be really helpful. So if you know on a Monday, for example, if you have a particularly stressful day, you know actually if at 7 p.m. on that Monday you speak to a specific friend, and that makes you feel positive and really good, and makes you feel connected to others. And we would strongly encourage that you do that. And it can also be contact that's and connection that's a few minutes long. It can be a bit longer, but any amount that will have a positive impact on your well-being. The second is around being active. So as we all know, physical activity is very important for our mental health as well as our physical health. And you can incorporate that into your daily routine. So personally, when I was at university, I found that actually doing the 15, 20-minute walk to my lectures was really helpful. Just allow time to decompress, have that time before I started the day, and then also at the end of the day. And you can just allocate those little time slots in for yourself around your studies. And our campus, for those of you who have visited, we're next to Victoria Park, which is an amazing green space. So you can always use that, breaks from the library to just do a lap for 10, 15 minutes, and that can really have a positive impact on your mental health. The third one is around learning and learning new skills. So that could be whether that's academic or practical. And what's great about starting your journey with us at the university is that when you are engaging with your subject, that may be new content, it may be more challenging. So naturally, this is probably a step that you'll find yourself doing. We know that completing new tasks can help us foster that sense of accomplishment as well. So when you do well in an exam or in an assessment, whatever that looks like for you, that can have a positive impact on your mental health. So again, if there's anything that you think you have good examples for any of the three that I've gone through so far, please do just put that in the chat, and my colleague can kind of go through those as well. The fourth one is around helping others. So we know that helping others helps with our own mental health. And again, that can be tailored to your own circumstances. So if you haven't seen already, our Students' Union has a great volunteering kind of opportunities, as does our careers team. So volunteering, doing some work experience, anything local in the Leicester community, that could also be really helpful. It's also something you could do with friends and those you meet on your course. I know on some courses at the university, that volunteering aspect is built into the course already, so you'll experience that kind of a bit more organically. And then finally, it's taking notice. So it's about being mindful, knowing what's around you, knowing what kind of your stress points are, if there is something specifically that does upset you or bother you a little bit, and just being aware of that. And also with our students, we often realise, especially around that exam season period, that is more stressful quite naturally. Being stressed and tired will ultimately reduce your quality of work as well. So it's also good to just look after yourself, make sure you are taking regular breaks, making sure you are using the park that's next to campus for those breaks, and just being active generally. So that's just some examples that we have. Again, please do use the chat if there's examples that you do within any of those, and we'll be able to look at that. So in terms of some of the bits that I've been through, so that's kind of the 5 steps to wellbeing. Some of the bits I'm about to go through is what we do on campus as student support services, as well as other teams, to help you achieve those 5 steps to wellbeing. So the first thing is that we have a wellbeing hub. For those of you who have been on campus, you will have seen the Percy G building, so the new side of the Students' Union. Within that, on level 3 is the Wellbeing Hub. Within that, we have weekly activities. There's some pictures there of what we've done in the past. So for World Mental Health Day, we had spin the wheel, we had some sweets, we just had freebies, and then we also did a Krispy Kreme donut tower. There's also games and activities, puzzles and board games that are left out for you that you can use in your own time. And in that same area, there's also the Student Support Services desk. So if you do have any questions around how to access support, you can come to that same area to find it. And what we really try to encourage in those kind of weekly events and activities that we do is that idea of connecting, is that idea of being aware that actually being social and speaking to others may be positive for your mental health, taking notice, taking a break, and just creating a balance, I think, really with your studies. So that's the Wellbeing Hub, and that's open to all students. All the activities we do is free. So please do come by, especially in the first week or two, whilst you're with us and just kind of getting to know the campus. Please do come up. It'd be lovely to see you. We then have our global lounge. So if there are any international students with us, please do let us know in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. So the global lounge is run by our international student experience team. So they're a dedicated team to support our international students with settling into their new home of Leicester. The activities, however, that they do is not just for international students. Everyone is welcome. So please do come to the global lounge. That's on the Charles Wilson building on the ground floor. And again, it's this idea around activities and keeping connected with others. So they have a full schedule of events that they do. This QR code is there, so I'd encourage you all to scan it. If you scan that, actually, it will also take you to the Welcome Events website, which has all the events that are available to you as a student. So not just what the international team do, it's all events. They have regular events, they have culturally themed craft sessions, games afternoons, quiz nights, and they also do pizza for the quiz nights, which is always a win with our students. So please do check that out. I'll leave that there for a bit just in case anyone does want to scan the QR code. But like I said, if there are any international students joining us, please do let us know in the chat where you are joining us from. The last thing that I'm just going to talk through is around transition and coping with change. So as we know that, and as you may already be experiencing, that the transition to university will require time kind of to just adjust to that new way of education. You may be moving away from home for the first time, and that's quite a big deal, and it may be quite unsettling to begin with. But we hope that it will become a positive experience, and it's something that will be enriching and be really, really beneficial for you. And some of the things that we talk around coping with change and kind of managing that transition and the positives that we identify with it is that you will develop problem solving skills. It may be that being at home, that wasn't something you personally, but actually at university, it will increase your independence and definitely enhance your problem solving skills. Having said that, if you do need help with anything and you are not sure about kind of anything, any problems or concerns that you have, please do know that we are here to offer support. So in the chat, I'll just pop down our student support services contact details. So we can offer you support around finances. We have dedicated hardship funds should you need a cash loan, for example, or an emergency loan. We then have our student wellbeing and mental health team, so they offer short-term counselling for our students. That's again free of charge. We then have our accessibility service, so they offer specific support for disabled students. They can also support you with exam arrangements and reasonable adjustments as well. And if you are meet the criteria for DSA, they can also support with that. So if you want any of those contact details, please just let me know. And ultimately, the overall purpose of this presentation was just to help you form those healthy habits from the start, to ensure that when you are going through the transition of university, and that may be tough at times, just know that you know where your support network is, you know where you can access support, and ultimately we want you to enjoy the experience. But if at any point you do have any concerns and you're not sure where to go, please do just get in touch with us and we'll be happy to help. We also have our student welfare and wellbeing phone line. So again, if you wanted to call up and just have a chat with someone, if you weren't really sure where to access support, please do. And like I mentioned on the previous slides around the Wellbeing Hub, we do have a desk there where you can come with your queries and then we'll be happy to help. So please do reach out, please do get in touch. So that's the end of the content for this presentation. I'll open it up to questions, and then I'll also just pop this slide on there around future sessions that are coming up from this team. So I mentioned the accessibility service, so that's tomorrow, I believe. So they're doing a session around how to access support for disabled students from the accessibility service. There's also some study support there as well around fundamentals of university essays. So that, and the web link is also there. There's also another slide actually here Around arrival weekend, so that is this Friday and Saturday, and it also includes Sunday. So there'll be stands and stores when you are moving in. If you've already moved in, please still come and say hi. It'd be lovely to see you. There's also some campus tours and city tours if you did want to get to know Leicester and you weren't really sure how to approach that. The city tours are a great way to kind of start that off. Again, the welcome website is linked there if you would like it. And I know these sessions are also going on online as well. So I'll just leave that there for now. And if there's any questions, please do let me know. Thank you.